Welcome to another episode of Full Circle with me, Onyx. And today I want to talk about, the difference between getting a psychic reading and having a psychic consultation or a discussion with an actual psychic, a conversation. Um, this also might go into why therapy doesn't work and why you might want to seek a true psychic versus a therapist. So I think it's just standard tactic um, to obviously promote what you think is right, to promote your personal agenda, and then in slight shady ways, disqualify other people with their methods, their beliefs. You see that a lot with gurus where they just kind of discount other people. They'll say don't go to an astrologer or don't mess with magic or I really know. And so in very subtle ways, I think we discount. And this really isn't what I want to do, but obviously I'll be straightforward, very transparent. The more I'm on my journey as an evolving being, uh, the more I realize a psychic consultation might be more beneficial if you're personally at the stage of what we call co-creation, manifestation, manifestation, uh, personal sovereignty, where, I for lack of better terminology, you're going to paint a picture with God versus you're going to try to paint it all on your own. So, this is where um, being more clear with our words, with our advertisement, with how we present ourselves on the world stage, to how we attract the right type of clientele. So, first off, I love divination systems. I love astrology. I love tarot. I love all things mystical. So, one of my favorite things to do is challenge, look at things I play both sides, uh, on the white side of the chessboard and the black side of the chessboard. I feel like I should be able to argue both sides of the coin to come to a better understanding and realization. So I'd say key takeaway point: be flexible in mind, body, and spirit. This flexibility, this openness, this ability to challenge both sides, be controversial, contradict, is a technique and a method to expand your own mind in a very practical way. Okay, so hopefully that can free you from your sense of being triggered, because we all choose what we believe is right for ourselves and what works, what our savior will be. What will save you? Is it money? Is it cards? Is it God? Is it magic? Like, we all, in a weird way, put faith in something. Some people will even be logic is it, science is it, technology is it. Me not believe Sometimes we'll flip it and say me not believing in this saves me from that. So we do a counterintuitive, or what I like to call a flip flop, and we can't get away from believing. To choose to be a disbeliever is the belief in is your stance. It's your invisible God. I choose nothing. I choose no answer. I choose blank. And so, really, you have a strong faith, a determination, and a belief in the unknown. So, I love atheists, I love non believers, because, uh, in a way, they're being more honest. In a way, uh, they're choosing not to drink the punch. They're choosing sobriety of the mystical intoxication of everything's going to be okay. Angels got your back. Aliens got your back. You know, they're choosing a more sober stance. And so they are actually, depending upon, you know, everyone is a case by case. Some people are just being resistant because they don't know what to do. They're trying to carve out a sense of self in a, I would say, random world, you know? So depends upon why you're choosing the atheist stance. The non-believer, the believers in the non-belief, the strong belief in non-belief, okay, the paradox. But anyways, they are closer to Zen, they're closer to enlightenment than believers are. And then let's switch it up a little bit. Onyx, let's remember the difference between getting a psychic reading or someone who reads symbols, divination systems, versus actually someone who's psychic. And why, if you're truly psychic, you might want to advertise yourself as a psychic consultant. So maybe we should just go there. Forget where I was going. Yeah, let's just go there. Okay, drop all the nuanced fun, you know, these little tangents, these side trips that I love to go on, you know, following spider webs and then bringing it all back together. Okay, so literally, like I said, if you read symbols and you love the cards and you love the symbolism, and I noticed there's a lot of readers online, and they'll flip over a card, they'll say the High Priestess, and then they'll tell you a little bit what the High Priestess card is about, and then they're trying to get a guess. They're going to create a story to approximate your situation, trusting in the collective pattern. So symbolism, divination symbols, and understanding pattern, and as above, so below, as within, so without. This is actually how symbol systems work. Uh, it's, I would call it a crude science still, and people are fascinated by how the smaller system fits into the larger system, how the small pattern fits into the larger. This not knowing is the magic, what we label as psychic, is the magic. Uh, we go, wow, you predicted that. No, it fits exactly in the system, it fits exactly in the model. You know, the pattern repeats on a large scale and a small scale. So I would say a lot of very good, well intending people go, I would say, you know, that's a huge lesson. It's a lifetime lesson. That's great. But they're not psychic. Some of the giveaways of this misunderstanding, this misconception, is how they leave it up to you to fit into your life. They don't take credit for the prediction. Uh, but there's a lot of, you might just see them read the definition of the card, tell you basically exactly how that is, and then that's that. And I've noticed a lot of that. And so they'll be maybe working with multiple card decks, an oracle deck, a tarot deck, and they have their little process. And in quantum physics, all possibilities, all realities, all timelines, all permutations exist now. So your chances of a hit is already at, for you to consciously understand and recognize, hey, that resonates with me. Wow. That's already at 50-50%. Okay. So you already hit 50-50. Then the fact that you, some reason, decided to watch a tarot card reading or go get a tarot card reading You've now increased that 50-50 to 60%. Cool. And so those are pretty good odds that within this pattern, a fourth dimensional and fifth dimensional pattern, you're going to resonate with it and go, wow, and then you might start putting a little faith and belief in it. Is that okay? Yes. Is there anything wrong with it? No. But we're kind of looking at it a little bit mechanically on how the process of symbols work, whether it's the planets rotating or whether it's the shuffling of the cards or some numerology, some synchronicity lineups with your name, your birthday, and the calculations. It's put through an algorithm, and the algorithm, based upon the algorithm, can produce a certain set of results. So I think numerology is a really great example of, I would say, almost a hard system of getting results, a real algorithm, a real computation. Where does it go wrong is when the reader deviates from the symbols and their meaning. Where does it go wrong when they try to intuit, make the quantum leap and link it to you? And that's where you get a generalized reading. So we're already at 60%. And then to make that quantum leap, that intuitive leap, that fifth and fourth dimensional leap, to kind of personally get to you, that's a gamble. And then let's say they actually made that jump. Then we go, whoa, that was too accurate. It's scary. And then you believe what, then here, that's great. So now we understand you can get all the way up to a 70% outcome with divination period, okay? That's great when your true aim is 100% accuracy. Probably you need to make a choice in life. So you either need to make a real choice and you're scared, you doubt yourself, is the one reason why you've come to a reader. You feel lost. You don't know what to do with yourself. So then once again, we're kind of at a choice point. Well, so you have a reason, you feel confused, you need to make a choice, either a real one between this or that. Do I stay at my job? Do I not? Do I stay with my partner? Do I not? It's broken down to yes, no. So it's a 50-50 is the cart. And so we're playing with probabilities, we're playing with statistics, we're playing with algorithms. And then, but this is where, see, my mentor, who I studied with for 8 years, is a high-level psychic, high-level shaman, high-level mystic. She's off the charts. So, of course, she doesn't want an entourage. Of course, she's playing as a normal housewife, single mom. And then that's not really the truth. There's so much more. There's so much hidden activity behind the scenes. Of course, she's a Scorpio with the sun conjunct Uranus, in Scorpio. So if you know anything about astrology, Uranus is the psychic person from the future, tapped in, multidimensional. And then you put it with Scorpio, who's fixed energy water intensity. So everything gets magnified and intensified. So, of course, I was deeply attracted to my mentor, and it was divine timing, and I just absorbed all those teachings. And we both met as psychics, working as readers in a New Age store called the Cosmic Spiral. That used to exist in Salt Lake City. The manager died. Okay, so that was kind of like the aftermath. She died. We all broke up. We all made friends. All of us had Scorpio in our chart, and we made lifelong connections. So So no hate. And yes, but one thing I feel like a little bit unique to me is that rational logic, holding out skeptic part of me. And I thought that was real. There's for a level of clarity and filtration and understanding the mechanics, that's a great quality. There's a point where you have to just stop and put it aside and say, and then you have to transcend through surrender, transcend through being open minded, flexible, humorous, which creates more flexibility, more expansion. So, you have to be able to pick up that tool. Hey, let's be critical, skeptical, myopic in our view, linear, and then, okay, that's not serving me, drop it. And then go to the other one, you know. And now I need to be soft. Now I need to be flexible. Now I need to be open minded. Now I need to learn trust or be trusting, to make that quantum level jump into the realm of psychic, into the realm of fourth and fifth dimensional connectivity. Um, and then let's bring this all the way back in to the whole point of this video: choice versus a patterned life, a calculation just playing itself out as destiny. Does man have free will? Does man have choice? Are we co-creators within maybe even a limited set of choices? Do I actually get to choose, or even my sense of choice? Is that all predetermined? Depending. So I feel like until you are more fourth and fifth dimensional, uh, you are consciously understanding your connection to a bigger pattern, more nuanced. But then you understand so your life is different. Your needs are different. Once you've awakened to the truth of co-creation. So if you're into law of attraction, if you're into manifestation and those formulas, if you're into building a new earth, creating, evolving humanity, you are now moving out of no choice. So please tell me my options as I only look within the 3D model of results of choice. So then you go to a reader and get the prediction. Will he marry me? Will I get $1 million? Is it yes or is it no? So it's like your brain is active. Okay. And so that will work for you because you haven't transcended to the level of within destiny, within this pattern, there are also possibilities. There's also, there's opportunities to rewrite the script, to change my life path. When you're on this level, then I would say a consultation will be more productive. So, and you'll know it. How will I know if I'm moving into self-empowerment, sovereignty, realizing I'm an active player in the game of life, in my own personal story, in the lives of others, as a collective? You might go to a reader and they tell you what to do. So I don't need a mom. I don't need a dad. I don't need an authority. You got psychic gifts, and then you think you're authorized to write my life story? No, thank you. You're not my new priest. You're not my new God. You're someone linked up. But guess what? I'm linked up. So you find when you're more awake, lesser awake people, or people with less bandwidth or at a lower density, are all ways to describe a more closed, narrow view on how the mechanics of life work. When someone is telling you uh, what it is, when someone is assuming more and more that authority to govern your life, now you're in dangerous waters. So even a guru, even a spiritually awakened person, well intended, uh, when they start to, it's like when they start to mother you, when they start to father you, when they start to tell you this is the path, the one and only path, you're closing down doors, timelines, possibility. You're narrowing it down. And yeah, if you go through that door, that could possibly happen. But who's the boss? So a lot of people give their power away. In psychology, we call it transference and countertransference. So it happens both ways. The psychic countertransfers and says, "See, I was right." And they're looking for your validation. You saying, "Yeah, you hit the mark. Yeah, that's all true. Your vision was correct." And then that, I would say, a novice of readings is transferring the power to the client to uh, validate their abilities, validate their clarity. And then, so there's, which is dangerous. This happens in therapy, this happens everywhere. We naturally want to give that authority to our clients, to our patients, or the patient. A lot of people come in desperation because they're not clear with themselves, because they're so dysregulated, because they don't know themselves. So I would say 80% of the people that follow and like certain psychics and stuff, hey, if you have your inner psychic working for you, if you're aware and awake, if you're a then why would you follow another? You would see them, you would be equal to them. So the scale of power, when you start saying, "Oh, this person has great abilities," you've now put them above you. And that's not bad, but what's happening is the power, the energy you're giving to them to play that role. And does it work? Yes. So a lot of psychics, or I'd say readers, say, "I'm just a mirror, you know, I'm just a reflection." And when you understand the power of working on that level, I just will absorb the information and energy and reflect it back, and it will be all true, and that's my job. Uh, that's actually a really healthy understanding, and will stop you from being drained, stop you from, because when you look at it like that, when your client leaves, you can simply say, all your energy, all your patterns, all of you can now go back to you. I've just absorbed it for a moment to create the impression, to the image that you needed, but it's all you. So I'd say this could be where we get really clean with psychic readings. And I couldn't talk about this until I understood it. So yeah, I knew that all I reasoned it out is true, but it takes a while to sort it out, experience it, and then understand it to a living truth. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I don't have this, it's not a miracle. It is scientific. It's part of empathy. It's part of mirror neuron cells. It doesn't matter how I validate that, but there's a truth there. So, yes, you can serve as a cosmic mirror, is what we do as psychics, as readers. Know when you're shifting into that, So I think the power is in knowing. It's like the cards are saying this, and I'm mirroring that. They're giving me all this information on an intuitive level, and I can respectfully mirror it back and be done with it. I don't need to. So, or you can neutralize it too. So, I don't need to keep them as clients to pay my bills to boost my ego, or not. You can. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but there's a lot of power when you really understand it. And you could pride yourself on actually, like, where does this pat on the back go? You know what? Bravo for the clarity of the mirror that you are. So I think being clear, um, being a really good mirror is a high honor. It means you put your ego aside in the service for your own spiritual development, in the service of higher powers like God, in the service of humanity. When someone can't see themselves clear and they're confused, and you show up as a clear mirror, bravo. I mean, that is high honor right there. Who cares if you're, who cares? That's awesome. And in therapy, that's supposed to happen. Why doesn't it happen? Is because all these models that we have. You go get an education, you've now subscribed to a thinking model that really isn't authentic. When we look at the evolution of psychology, it's pretty new, but a lot of the information is structured from within the society. So it's already society biased. It's pro society. How do you fit into the world? And then all the changes that are happening in psychology are still within the structure of society. So it's not getting out of the fish tank. And everyone's trapped in the fish tank. And they're bypassing the responsibility of the society. Really, what should happen in your first session, I believe, is whatever you're personally experiencing as trauma and stuff to work through, instead of blaming your parents, blame society because they made your parents. And all these structures that we have within society, like big institutions, blame them. And when you're done blaming, now it's time to take responsibility and be the change. Okay? So there is all your psychology. You can save years of therapy by okay. And now you can be sober when you meet your guru. Now you can be sober when you meet your card reader, your diviner, your magician, your witch, whatever they want to call themselves. And then instead of getting confused and trying to fit yourself into their narrative of, it could be aliens' agenda to save the world. You're like, something's not resonating with me. Okay, I guess you're right. You said my guide is from Sirius A, and I'm a descendant of Arcturus, and I have a fairy and a dragon, and I need a Reiki session. I really just wanted to know if my boyfriend was going to stay with me. And you're like, I wanted something practical, a yes and no. I was curious. And now you've told me all this other stuff. You put all this extra cool, sparkly stuff on my plate. Even though I just ordered like steak and potatoes, you've now given me like rainbow beans and rainbow gravy. And in the moment, it tasted really good, but it's not digesting. I'm more confused. Or how I don't understand. So when you find yourself not understanding, that's probably a red flag that you're conforming to someone else's theories, thoughts, projections, and now the reading's not there. Okay, so is it dangerous to accept everything that's coming out of your reader's mouth? I don't know. I'll leave that up to you, but we need it. But we can at least. How is the psychic consultation different? They're not trying to tell you. They're not trying to read someone else's mind so you can spy on them and get information that you don't deserve because you won't make the phone call and say, hey, so and so, I noticed you haven't talked to me for 3 days. I'm feeling really insecure. is I'm starting to take it out on myself. Is this about me or you? You should have. Now, that was your responsibility to do in everyday reality, but you were scared. You thought it would be risky. So you went to a card reader instead, and now you have a guide from space and all this weird stuff. You have rainbow beans and gravy. And it kind of filled your anxiety for a moment, but it didn't really give you what you need. And yeah, you might have learned some cool things. And maybe there were some other truths that came out. Oh, you're dating an avoidant. Cool. Go watch some videos on that. Anyways, uh, the a psychic consultation is different. It it leaves it open, you know, instead of just you and the issue that you came. Uh, the consultant goes, you know what? You've really come here. The carrot on the stick was your anxiety about your relationship and security. But what I'm actually getting is you actually need to go talk to your father. Um, see, there's that command, so it's kind of hard. It's obviously going to come up, but it's like what I'm actually getting is a total detour. And it's like, it would be really great to talk to your dad. There's some guides here, and they're saying, that would be good to say your goodbyes. Yeah, totally what you didn't expect. And go do that. But why? I need to know why. I need to know. I don't know. Let's do a little investigating together. Let's do a little footwork. Go see what happens. Okay? You know? And oh, I'm getting a lot of information on your diet. They're pointing to your left leg. They're showing me a psoriasis and diabetes. And so it looks like your leg and this is being, I see a misdiagnosis of neuropathy when really it's actually pre-diabetic symptoms. I didn't come for your medical advice. I just want you to tell me about my boyfriend. I'm a psychic consultant. You're actually dealing with a psychic. I'm multidimensional being sitting in the nexus of all possibility. So your little narrow, I want this and I want that, doesn't cut it. Like you're getting a lot of other information that's actually more relevant than your little narrow view. Do whatever you want. This is what I'm getting. The choice is yours. The power is yours. This is your life. This is the difference with like a psychic consultant. They're like,